mainly stallions, and she was a sports horse, an Irish sports horse mare, and there's nothing like a mare to put you in your place. And she put me in my place, and in no uncertain terms told me that I needed to go and find something else. I was very lucky to be accepted on the first UK School of Legerete teacher training course. Now, the school was founded by Philippe Carl in 2004. Philippe Carl, a former rider of the French National Riding School, the Cardin Noir in Saumur, France, he dropped out of his medical studies to dedicate a lifetime to training horses. I'm really glad he was a horse trainer and not a doctor. And I'm also very, very glad that he dedicated his time to teaching people as well as horses. In history. Legerete, we're going back here, late 1600s, mid 1700s. And he was one of the first in demonstrating a method of equitation that is progressive, logical and rational. All modern schools, they've cut that piece of information out of the book. They failed to include everything else that he spoke about. Now, he speaks in detail about the use of the hand, about the descent domain, which is a yielding by lowering of the hand. Now, to lower something, it's got to be high in the first place. This is a lot later on. And Bochet was controversial during his lifetime and remains so today. He used the aids separately, or should I say he taught the aids separately. The hands without the legs, and the legs without the hands. So the lesson of the hands is never given to the horse at the same time as a lesson to the legs. We always is respect for the horse. Now, what do we mean by that? You know, they're nice words, aren't they? We all love our horses, and you know, we all like to think that we respect our horses. What I like to think that means is by giving the horse the power over any progression. And I think that when we are the triangle at the top, which is balance, relaxation and impulsion. And we are looking for legerete in all three things. Again, so it's really important that when we use the word balance, that we really do develop the balance to the shoulders. First of all, on the lunge, it become more flexible. Of course, the balance, relaxation, impulsion will start to improve, but also their rhythm. Now, rhythm it's the first on the training scale. So unless your horse is born with natural rhythm, where do we start? Do you know, and the scales, the traditional scales of training are really designed for horses that are quite good already. Do you know, they're not. And how do we start the collection? We certainly don't start the collection by compressing the front end and driving the back end forward. So what do we do with the collection is we simply just start playing with the transitions, and we test their impulsion with forward transitions, test their balance and relaxation with downward transitions, and we play with these transitions. What starts to happen then is the stride starts to become more bouncy. Straightness is something that will just continue to improve. Take a look at straightness a horse in nature, and we will be referring to this as a natural outline. The nose is forward, underneath the throat line's nice and open, the pole's the highest point. The caption under this one was young riding horse, so you know, say no more. And unfortunately, this is now deemed normal. Rather than accepting a horse under saddle in a natural outline, do you know, would we want a young horse to be in this outline forever? Most certainly not. Most certainly not. But there's no harm in visiting this outline. In fact, there's a lot of good in visiting this outline. I'll come on to more to that. So the snaffle can act either on the tongue with low hands, or on the corner of the lips with high hands. The end cannot necessarily also be used as a means. So we cannot teach the horse the things that we want them to do with low hands. That's the end. Yeah, low hands is the end. The way that we teach the horse, first of all, we would teach the horse this stationary at halt with nothing else to think about. And we call this flexion action-reaction. So the horse is above the hand, it's inverted and above the rider's hands. So rather than niggling with the hands staying down to force the horse to come into an outline, what we do is we raise the hands to be level with the mouth, but we add a contact. And again, remember, this is taught on the ground. The horse feels the contact in the corners of the mouth and go, I felt that before, I felt that with the stationary flexions. So what they do is they extend the neck. And the rider goes, thank you, lowers the hand. So what happens with this way of schooling is the horse trains us to keep the hands down. Because when the hands are saying nothing, the hands are down. The muscles of his top line are short, he's hollow. The muscles of his undercarriage are long. So this is what we needed to do the opposite to what Lynx wanted to do. Shorten the undercarriage and lengthen from ear to tail. So the horse is really carrying the rider properly, but also developing the self-carriage necessary for collection. The lifting, again, you can tell he's young, he's not using his forehand properly. And again, that was the same clinic, that was 3 months later. So you can start to see how he's beginning to round himself without me actually asking him to flex his pole. You know, it's a process that he's going through. And we are taught very often to use the inside leg at the girth, the outside leg behind the girth, to promote the bending through the body. You'll only ever see that on a diagram. We're also taught that as the circle goes smaller, that the bending through this body will become greater. It's a dream. Because reality is that it's the neck that bends. It's not the spine. To teach the horse to bend round the inside leg is actually something that we develop. It's not something that we use, that we don't use the leg, in other words, to teach the horse to become flexible. The inside leg is something that we add to help them understand what that inside leg is saying. But they certainly don't bend through their body like a banana. They have a very straight spine, and it's actually the neck that bends. So initially, when we are teaching the horses to become flexible, whether it be in hand or ridden, at the beginning it's very much the job of our hands, okay? It's definitely not the job of our legs. And what we tend to do then is we'll teach a young horse to kind of ignore the leg. So by the time we get to the stage that the horse needs to be really listening to the language of the legs, or we need to start teaching the language of the legs, we've used it so much that doesn't make sense, that then it's very difficult for the horse to actually develop the education of our legs. So